Thanks to Paul Virzi for treating me like I'm some fucking jerk.
Yo, Dom, hey, Dom, hey.
Yo, Dom.
Would you guys introduce yourselves to everybody here? You lazy fucks.
Brian,
Excuse
the
me.
producer, co-host Steve Rinaldi, the legend Dom Irrera, and Paul Virzi.
My ass.
That was the most
So, I'm sorry.
informal intro I ever heard.
I'm trying, Paul. I'm trying.
That's how we like to roll here.
So I'll tell you the story when I worked with Dom. It was at the Punchline in Atlanta, the Buckhead. It was the Buckhead location, not where they're at now in the diner, but the Buckhead location.
Yeah, no, that was a great club for years.
Great club, legendary club. And if people that don't know, that club, the green room was behind the stage, but you had to walk through. You had to walk through the crowd, get into the green room, and then you would stay there because the crowd was filled up, and you'd come out on the side of the stage. So I'm with Dom the whole weekend, and Saturday night comes, the last night, and the sound guy goes, I go, hey man, light me at 20. I guess he goes, don't worry about a light. It's the last show. Have fun. And I go, yeah, but Dom's headline. I'm not headlining. He goes, all right, dude, you know when to get off. Just have a good time. So I'm up there, right? And Dom, I'm such a fan, so I was like excited to be working with you. And I'm looking for the light around 20 minutes, and the light never comes at all. And I'm going, all right, I got to be up here for a certain. So I see Dom walks through the crowd, gets in the green room, and now I know, all right, I probably got like 5 minutes. And I do a couple more minutes, and then I see Dom leave the green room and walk through the crowd towards the back, like leaving. Holy shit. So now I really don't know where I'm at. I'm lost. And finally, Dom starts making his way back. He looks pissed. I get off stage, and I don't know where I was time-wise. And Dom gets on stage, and Dom, you go, thank you, everybody. Thank you. Also, thanks to Paul Virzi for treating me like I'm some fucking jerk. And I start panicking. I'm going, oh my God, dude, I fucked up, man. Like and I couldn't tell if he's joking. And he's like, and that's all I'm thinking about, his whole set. So I go up to the bar and I go, hey man, I'm really sorry. And you looked at me and you go, you know what? And I thought you were going to tell me go fuck yourself. And you just go, listen, it happens sometimes. I go, no, Dom, listen, I'm Sicilian and I know you're Italian. I go, and I know that's something you're never going to forget. And Dom goes, never. He goes, I'm never going to forget it. And then we get back to the hotel and I see you at the hotel in the lobby getting snacks. And I walked up and I said, hey, let me get those snacks. I'm going to buy those snacks for you. And he goes, no, you don't have to do that. I go, no, man, I'm really sorry for what happened tonight. I didn't mean it. I go, the kid didn't give me the light. He told me to go on. I did not know where it was. I'll pay for that. And you go, hey, Paul, you go, it's water under the bridge. We're totally fine. And I paid for your snacks. And that was it. So there you go. That's my Dom Irrera story from Atlanta.
Oh, you still piss me off. Why did you have to bring that fucking back to me? Are you going to? What are you thinking? You're the middle act.
100%.
Get him out of here, man.
100%. I was definitely wrong. I should have told the guy, give me the fucking light. You know what I mean? So whatever.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's what they all say.
I know.
How much time you think you did?
Oh my! It did at least 20, over the 20, at least 40.
I did over to 20. I probably did like 28, 29 to 30 or whatever. But
how could you do that to me?
I know.
Now I'm upset.
When you said that on stage, you got to understand something. Like I was a student of comedy. I saw you on all of those Dangerfield things, and I saw all the shit you did. And you go up there and you go, yeah, I want to thank Paul for treating me like I'm a fucking jerk. And I was devastated, man. I was devastated.
Oh, good. Now I like it. All right, man, Paul, do you want to hear my version of pain of losing a friend? You can't believe what's happening in front of you. If you don't mind, now that you told me the worst story ever.
Go ahead.
Bill and I were, I thought friends. Then he gets this, in his arenas, and then he's at stadiums, and now he's flying over to Antarctica. They're going to see more. He's big. He's huge. And he's a good friend. Was a good friend. Then we have a little virus going on. It's the last time I saw him or heard from him. And I think to myself, wasn't he my friend when we didn't have viruses all over? I guess he wasn't. I guess he wasn't who I thought he was. Like I've hung with a lot of stars. I'm very people are attracted to me. We know that. And I didn't know that well. We go to Ireland, and he's a young guy, and he's always pretty funny, but not this funny. This is very funny. But he said, "Dom, you're like the mayor of Kilkenny. Will you show me around tonight?" And I thought to him, "Poor kid. You should follow me. I'll take care of you. Whatever you want, drinks, entertainment, do Irish accents to each other. That's funny." And then this all happens, and I realized, what would have happened if he didn't do so well? He'd be at my house, me eating my food, talking to my people. I do not want you to tell him about this because it would make him feel important. Hurt. I don't want to. Now it's too over. It's too, the time has passed, and he didn't give me his. And don't you think of giving it to me because it's not going to happen. I'm done giving him he probably doesn't even know me anymore.
Oh my God, he loves you.
Can't I be hurt for once?
Dom, Dom, but you and Bill Burr got a lot of history together.
This is what I'm saying. I thought we had. That's not on much.
That's why it hurts so much, right, Tom?
Well, the night
I can't go back.
The night of the Philly rant, that famous Philly rant, you bombed in front of him, right? Or
why did I bomb? I didn't fucking bomb.
No, they booed you.
People wait, time out. What were we talking about? I mean, very seriously, I was standing behind there, and this is how the things start. Mm-hmm. I 3 people out of maybe 3,000. They were drunk. They were drinking from 11 o'clock in the morning. They boo. They ended up booing the guy who ended the show. It wasn't Bill, or it was that little bald-headed. His name. He's a good guy. Yeah. He was and they booed him at the end. But anyway, I got out of my boo, and I think, what are these guys? They fuck them, You live in grandma's basement with your AC/DC dresser. And that was all straightened out. Mm-hmm. And he grabs me. He goes, they booed Dom Irrera. I go, I'm Dom Irrera. Oh, don't worry about it. Have a good set. And then I go, and he does that magnificent work, improv, everything, 4 minutes on. And I was like, who's there to greet him, to hug him? I was. So tell him I said hello anyway.
I will definitely tell him that. Yeah, he told me.
He didn't. What?
No, he said, he goes, when they bombed, he said when they booed a legend like Dom in Philadelphia, he said, fuck that, I'm going out and I'm going after those people. Like, that's kind of what's it, because I think he knew he was probably going to get booed too. That's what the crowd was just doing to everybody. So he was just like, I think like happening to you, that happening to Dom made him turn angry and go, okay, I'm going to turn this another way, which is great.
Well, I'm not saying he didn't have a good side. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying bless him and those who love him. I just say he gave me the eggs. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to snap. So what are you doing?
Yeah, right now I'm just trying to write a new hour. I have the next special in the can already. I shot it in Chicago. Hopefully it comes out this summer, and I'm just writing a new hour. I'm just trying to write a new hour.
What would that be? Your 4th special?
It would be my 3rd special and my 4th hour. I have an album too.
Nice.
But I don't like giving the crowd the same shit. Like, I don't want an hour to come out and then go to fucking San Diego and do the same thing. I just don't want to do it.
You're doing a lot of movies now. How's the transition? Like doing Old Dads and Bupkis and.
I thought I wasn't going to like acting because it was so unnatural, because I like when, as comedians, we like to be ourselves on stage and say what we want when we want. We're the director, we're the producer, we do all that. And then I was afraid of it. But when I kind of got into it, I really liked it. I also, listen, Pete Davidson put me in a show where he said, you're going to be a degenerate gambler. and you're just going to rant about how you lost everything because you can't stop betting on the Giants. So I was like, all right, this isn't too much of a stretch.
Yeah.
I could fucking, that's no problem. I got you there. I'll win a fucking Academy Award doing that. So, but I do like acting. I do like acting. I'm not as afraid of it anymore. You know what? I don't want to be the guy auditioning for all the parts. I just like when they go, hey, Paul Virzi would be good for that. And then just going having fun with that. And, you know, not that happens a ton, but when it does, I have fun with it.
I realized I couldn't get, I was so bad at I was so angry they're making me dance for them because I'm Mr. Big Shot. And when I came back from Montreal one year, and I'm up there, I'm getting everything, and nobody come back, this big fat eating a sandwich, looking at the sports page, and she really looked up at me, and I'm thinking, I'm fucking getting out of here. She said, "Where are you going?" I said, "Well, you're going over that way, and I'll be going this way." That's what are you talking about? And it's like after I got that, my level went so up of not getting nervous and not doing it. And if I thought I was so good at it, I would still do it. So I'm not doing it because I think I'm great. I'm thinking I'm doing it. I'm fucking sick. Six part of it. I rather I start on the stage itself. I don't like that fucking dance.
Yeah. Did you were you in any parts with any big actors? Like, did you ever have a scene with like a big actor?
Yeah, a bunch of them.
Who was like the biggest, you'd say?
Geez, Bruce Willis.
Oh shit!
The Beatles. They start lying. Mother Teresa, fucking tapped. She tapped it. You know.
He's like, I told Scorsese to go fuck himself.
Who was Castro, Fidel Castro. But he is this trick with it. He puts this cigar
in his glasses
into his, and he pulls it out of his ass with hair all over it. Anyway, God bless. Big. Who's the biggest? What's the model man and woman group? You know, like Ozzy and Harry. You know, can't like they keep my references high.
I'm trying to think. Which one did I see? Which one did I ever see?
Anything you got, kid.
Anything I got for any? No, nothing. Nothing.
What's on the ceiling? Wait, but I keep looking at the ceiling.
I don't know.
Is that Bill Burr? He's up there.
You're fucking bull breaker tonight, Dom. Jesus.
What did I do? I'm excited. He's a good guy. Funny. He walks too much though. He's making me fucking dizzy with the walk. Why don't you set two benches over here and one over there and put a nice drink? I forget. You know how I can't figure this thing out. How we're here and then we're. I was going to ask you.
Yeah, Dom's like he's
stupid, retard.
No,
gay retard.
He can't believe. Yeah, he can't believe we do a show every week over the computer. He thinks it's crazy.
I really do. You know, laugh if you want, my friend. It ain't easy, I'll tell you that. Anyway, just said hello.
Yeah, no.
I got to go. I'm doing a bombcast. What are you going to say? Now you know what it feels like when a guy goes overtime, huh?
He's getting me back now. He's like, fuck. Yeah, that's hilarious.
I just started. Okay, pal.
All right. Let's I'm trying to think of what you asked me. What did you ask me? What did he ask?
You're talking about like parts of like acting in parts. I mean, Dom, you did that. I mean, Lebowski was what's his name? Jeff. Was he big when that came out?
Bridges.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges. Was he like? Yeah, was he huge at the point when that movie came out?
Oh yeah, very big. It was. I know. First of all, I thought I thought the Big Lebowski was somebody else. Oh, John Goodman, because he's a big fat guy, you know.
Mm-hmm. He was in it though, wasn't he? Yeah, John.
Yeah, he was, but he wasn't.
But you did your scene with Jeff Bridges,
right? Yeah. And they said I was a driver, limo driver. And they said, "Do you want us to?" They had these things for the son. They said, "You want us to take him out?" And I said, "Nah, I'm going 5 miles an hour. What could possibly happen? And so I start driving, and I fucking nailed something right away. Everybody gets thrown in the car except me because I got the steering wheel. We opened his brother. He was in the trunk, and you could hear him, boom, 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 boom. And nobody said anything to me after. They were just fuck. They had to, Anyway, who else?
Dom, a lot of your parts, you did you audition for them, or they seen you from your stand up?
The Lebowski, they saw me in the stand. It was pretty much all on the set, on the comedy, my hilarious comedy set. But that's what I was telling you. I just didn't do well in any kind of like people riding with me. I just wanted to say, fuck you.
Any auditions?
Paul, was that the same for you? Like a lot of it was just from the clubs, like being seen?
Yeah, just if somebody was like, I think you would be good for that part. And, if it was if there was a part about sports, they knew I was into that. If there was, certain things like that, they knew would be like a wheelhouse. But yeah, I don't like the whole like lining up and waiting to go and audition. I can't do that. That's hard.
Somebody always comes out and they think they're fucking funny. They go, might as well go home, guys. I got this one. Fuck you,
Oh, yeah. You're sitting in a waiting room with everybody trying to get your part. And with stand-up, you don't have to worry about that shit. Stand-up is just, you go into the club, you do your spot, and, But it's funny that you said that, Dom, because I found out later that my father was an actor, and he went to the Lee Strasberg School in New York. But then, and the biggest show, he said, when he was the Miami Vice, was the biggest show back then. Miami Vice was like huge, and everybody wanted to get on Miami Vice with Don Johnson. And my dad finally got an in to go and like audition for this part somebody said he'd be good for. And then they were like, all right, you got to be downtown at like 6 a.m. And he's like, fuck you, I'm not waking up that early. Because he didn't want to do the dance. He was like, he was talented, but he's like, I'm not doing that.
Right.
He's like, I'm not waking up.
I had Sean Penn gave me a script. He calls me up in Cleveland. And we're pretty good friends. And but I had to go to New York. Robert De Niro I go to breakfast. Robert De Niro, the guy who did the Bronx Tip.
Oh,
yeah.
The Renee Zellweger.
Zellweger.
Yeah. That was Jim Gaffney. I don't know how him or me got in this group. But I'm reading right here with De Niro, and he was trying against me. He got Danny, the little midget,
DeVito, yeah.
And thanks for filling in these things. Yep. and he wasn't there, but he's a fucking great, much better actor than me. He just give him the fucking part. But we're walking down the steps, and Zanae Bellsberger goes, I hope we get to read with you, you doll, and I hope we get to buy. And she calls me this doll, and I was like Woody Allen. She was great, the doll. I was so happy. Is that enough, people?
I think this is the first time we have two people in the podcast that played the Garden. Both you guys, right, Paul? Didn't you open for the Garden?
Yes. 2018. Joe Bartnick and I did. Yeah. That was something, man. That was fucking something.
Yeah, and Dom opened for Cher there. He was saying.
Go ahead, Joe.
No, that was when did that stop? Where comedians stopped opening for musicians?
I don't know. I never. Steve, the gray hair. I can't remember anybody today.
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin. He's the last one I remember, and I think it's too big. I don't care how many fucking screens you put up. Unless it's for Cher or somebody like that, because she's all over the place and big fucking candles and everything sticking in and out of her ass. But
You just think you think it's too big of a venue to do stand up?
I don't care who it is, yeah, and I don't care how big it should, But I told Bill I wouldn't want to do it, but it's you graded it, so
Yeah.
I would never dream.
I'm sorry, Dom. Go ahead.
No, you go, bro.
No, I was just gonna say I agree with you. I think stand up in like 1,000, 1,500, or like even like a 2,000 seater, like the Beacon Theater, like when that level is just. It's still intimate, like it's intimate enough. So if you're telling a story, or they're right there. But when you have that long delay in a big, huge room, I don't think stand-up comedy was really to sell tickets.
That's where Steve met. We met. And we met.
Well, I first worked with you, Dom, at Helium, and then we did Tropicana's showroom in Atlantic City. That was I think 2,500 seats. But I mean, what's your ideal venue? Like, what do you like theater setups, Dom, or you much rather like the club?
I just like a confessional kind of thing. You and one person, just a little. You did what? You pig. Yeah. I don't know. I like for me it'd be. But like the one we did, 2,000. I don't think he's getting much bigger than that. Who am I, Mr.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you something because he was a big reason why I'm talking about Rodney Dangerfield. My dad took me to see Rodney at radio.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he took me to believe it or not, man, I was like my older brother's 5 years older. And he took me and my brother to see Rodney at Radio City, and this is in the height. This is back to school and all that. And Rodney's book, I read Rodney's book, and I was thinking about going to the bookstore to meet him and have him sign it, but I guess he was ill. He ended up passing away. But that's one regret that I have, just because of how fucking silly and great that guy was. How great was he, man?
What?
Was he great? Was he a great guy?
He was a great guy. He was a great comedian. He was so funny. He was funnier when he was mad than when he was just trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He gets he kept asking me did I need anything? I said, how about this? I'm your fucking pal. I know you. You're fucking incredible. But he said, there's nothing I can do for you. I go, no, you do. Relax. Well, you could do one thing. Close your robe. He goes, what? I said, I can always see your balls. And it's like when it takes my appetite away. And he didn't even laugh. That's funny, kid. That's funny. He never even say laugh or smile or anything.
Did you play that club, Paul, before it closed?
I did play it, and I it was one of those rooms where comics hated to play it. I'm talking about up until like 2017, 2018. Comics didn't like to play it because they never changed the decor. They said it's like where jokes go to die. You would do like your A shit, and it would just it was different. But then I really liked it. I liked the challenge of it. I like doing new shit there. And now
it looked good on camera.
Yeah, they closed it down, and now they just reopened it, and it's called Rodney's.
Have you been in since they reopened it?
They reached out and said, "Hey, it's called Rodney's now." The manager of New York Comedy Club moved over to there, and
cool.
But I have not been there. I have not been there yet. But just the history of that place, they never even changed Rodney's office up until when they closed down. Everything was exactly the same.
I never did it except for the HBO specials.
Is that right?
Yeah.
No way.
I never did stand up on it. He was the interest in it was going for him because he'd rather be in LA in those days. And did you ever see his Johnny Carson show where he had like fucking 50 or 60 hours of fucking just joke after joke?
Like one-liners.
Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did like a 5-6 minute set and then sat down on the couch and like 40 one-liners came out. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I talked to Tony Bellavacqua, right? His partner. And and he would tell me stories. He would tell stories about how Johnny Carson would hop in there on his last stop and have some drinks on the way home because the Tonight Show was in New York at the time. And he'd be like, Johnny Carson would just come in and get hammered, and then they'd go.
Oh, jeez.
yeah, like all these like amazing stories, man. It's just like the history in that place. When you did the HBO thing at his place, how many was that? Just a showcase with 6 comics on it, or did they edit some out and have like a bunch?
No, that was it.
Okay.
One girl, one little chick.
Yeah. It was Carol Leifer, right? Isn't that it was on? Carol Leifer?
Yeah, Carol Leifer. I say girls.
Yeah.
Did you guys all know each other, Dom, before you taped that?
Pretty much, yeah. It was a good group. The best dirty shoot I've ever seen. I mean, with Dice on it, and what's the guy's name of the bald head? He was his first.
Sobel.
What is
Barry
it?
Sobel.
Barry Sobel was he was a 35-year-old man trying to look like a 15-year-old black kid. What's up? You know.
Yeah.
It was funny to him.
Who was on your show? Who was on with you? It wasn't Foxworthy, was it?
No, it was Dice. Who's the guy from Texas?
Hicks. Bill Hicks. Yeah, Bill Hicks.
What a great comedian he was. You know, good guy. It was a pretty good show.
Was Lenny Clark?
You talk about the Lenny Clark.
Lenny Clark. Yeah, Lenny Clark.
We did that, and you talking about in Atlanta. When we got to Atlanta, I'm in the back. I walk in. I said, "Wow, this is fucking packed. What are they here for?" The guy goes, "You." I said, "What?" It's just a couple of days. That was so hot because there was no competition. And that was like Robert Klein and I think one other, maybe some. That was it. Mm-hmm. And I remember the audition was Barry Sobel, Dwayne. I can't think of any of his names. Dwayne.
Damon Wayans.
Dame. And they each they're supposed to do 10 minutes. They each did an hour. I'm fucking furious, right? Mm-hmm. So for my whole sketch was fucking busting on their balls. Mm-hmm. And I get off, and Rodney goes, "Hey kid, you're funny, but you got no act. What you do is fucking nail people." I said, he said, "I'll see you again at the improv." So he gave me another chance, and then I slayed them. I busted them. They exploded on top of me. I didn't give a fuck. That's my story, and I'm coming to it.
Oh, dude, that's awesome, man. I would have loved to meet Rodney and see the crowd that night. Like when you watch it now, you could tell how excited that they were. And when Rodney came out and hosted it, oh man, fucking.
Oh yeah.
And Roseanne Barr was like didn't Roseanne? That was one of her first shots that she got, right?
Oh yeah, and she got the Tonight Show, I think, before it. I'm not sure. Oh, okay. But we worked together a lot, me and her, and she wanted was the Comedy Store main room on a Saturday night for a show. That's what she wanted. She wasn't looking to run $1 billion show or anything like that, you know. But she was the one, you know. Talk about you her because of Bill Burr. I just want to forget that story, okay? It hurts too much to go back and dredge it up again. But you tell him don't tell him anything. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. I mean, I had like this bad sinal thing. Then when my sinuses were clogged, and a lot of people were there to help me. And
there was a guy that I worked with in Vegas named Ron Schock. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, the guy with the Spanish thing at the end.
Oh, I know is they called him like America's. They called him like apparently he was also from Austin, Texas, with Bill Hicks, and they kind of came up together, right? So I'm at Brad Garrett's room. I'm doing Brad Garrett's room in Vegas, and they're like, "You got to see this guy, Ron Schock." They go, "He's like America's greatest storyteller." Now I don't know what the fuck, I'm just trying to,
Yeah.
I'm getting fucked out of money for the week. They're giving me like $1,000 for 7 days. They're putting me up. I mean, I'm getting no money. And Tony Camacho was managing the room. And Ron Schock is in there. And they go, "What?" It was like a magic trick. This guy would be up there and he would tell a story. And it was so fucking captivating and amazing and funny and good. And he had a little bit of a draw. Mm-hmm. And you would think 10 minutes went by, and then you look up and he was on stage for 35, 40 minutes. It was incredible. And then he ended up getting sick, but he took me and he took me out, and he told me a Rodney story where they were out in a diner eating, and Rodney just started smoking, and you weren't allowed to smoke it. And the cops came up, and Rodney was just like, "Don't worry about it, you're with me." And he told the cops, and the cops were totally fine. He goes, "Don't worry, kid." And then Vinnie Mark, I don't know if you remember Vinnie Mark.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Vinnie Mark would open for Dice sometimes. And when Dice Rodney would, when he would open for Rodney, and when Rodney wanted to hit a weed, he would go, "Come here, fellas, come here. And he would take a hit, and he'd go, "All right, break it up."
Schimmel was the guy's name. Robert Schimmel.
Robert Schimmel.
Yeah, Robert Schimmel.
Yeah, the first joke I heard out of him was, "Do you ever take a shit and you look at it and it reminds you of somebody you know?" I called my wife. I go, "You should see this guy. I got to follow now." What do you open with?
What was your favorite room to do when you were like regular rooms, like to do on the road?
Probably the Casbah in Wildwood, New Jersey.
Wow.
Because it was all friends and relatives, and it was great. Gonna be like home for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That fucking guy would come out with a robe. That's fucking what?
Yeah. He used to steal the guy before him his jokes the next week. I went in. I was doing some of Keith Richards. It was an okay joke, but I come in. He didn't know I was still in town. I go in to see it. He uses the joke. I wrote a joke. It wasn't from a group that did at work or anything.
All right.
Mark Vito was his name.
He gave me the shittiest room I ever. It was a hotel room on top of the club, and
they just got done refinancing the whole thing. Is new.
Oh, right now?
Yeah, because I took my girlfriend in there. She was fucking beautiful, and I couldn't. I said I can't. The air conditioner was right on the bed. I just couldn't see this girl having a fucking sleep like that. So I went for the big money. And any place you've been, we've been following each other for years. I'm serious. Every place you go, we have a story for. But never started a thing with "this is the funniest thing you ever heard," and it was such a letdown, If you had just said that,
I never said that. I just said it was a good story. I didn't say it was funny.
Yeah, he did. He said it was going to be a good story.
I said it was just going to be a story, not going to be the funniest thing you ever heard.
All right, I'm sorry.
No, hey, don't be sorry.
Okay. You go home with your show, guys. I'm a lot older than you. I'll probably be dead.
Don't beat yourself up, Tom.
I can't help it.
It's all right.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's okay.
Paul, how'd you become how'd you gain this relationship with Burr and Robert Kelly? Like, you got podcasts with both of them. You guys have such good chemistry. Is that all relationships that happen the clubs in New York?
You should know. You should do it.
It's like, I feel like when you're in the business for a long time, you end up just hanging with guys that are the same way. Like Bobby Kelly and I, just he's older, but we just have such a great time, such good chemistry, busting each other's balls, but it's all love, and that's why people like the podcast, because it's all, it's fun. He's a great dude, man. And he knows that I'm out of my mind and he's out of his fucking mind. And when each other knows that about each other, that's what makes it great.
So you want to hear so Brett, I was opening for Brett Ernst and the Stress Factory.
Brett's another one that I'm super close.
So Brett's on stage and the crowd's light. It's like the Friday Late Show. And I'm in the back of the room, I'm drinking. And he goes, hey, he's like, I hate normal people. I hate you people. And something to that effect. And then he's like, comics are the only people I like hanging out with because we all vibe out with each other. He goes, "Hey, Steve, how old's Dom?" And I went, "I don't know, in his 60s. He's like, "See that kid back there? He's 34 and Dom Irrera is his best friend."
Yeah. That's
like, just some comics,
funny.
you just Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's comedy buddies. Like when you have a friend that you just click with funny wise, it's way better than your other friends that aren't in it.
Mhm.
You know, like what's better than sitting with a comic that you love busting balls, you know each other, and you could. And here's the other thing: we want to talk about people, so you could talk about people to your comedian friend because they get it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Right?
Kelly's very, very funny.
Oh, dude, we're doing this new podcast.
Don't tell him I said that, all right?
No, I won't. I won't tell him.
Yeah.
I promise.
What- what-
I'll say- What's
You know, we were Cleary, Dennis Cleary.
Dennis Leary.
Oh, Leary, yeah.
What the fuck is anyway? Dennis, we came up there for some hockey thing for something for little kids, and I hate them, you know.
Oh, the benefit in Boston they do.
There's a benefit from Mario Lemieux, right?
I don't know, but it was he gave us just the whole thing. It was beautiful. And Robert went on before me, and I said to the audience, not only because we're friends, I said, "You see the last guy, Robert Kelly?" I said, "Well, I do 30 seconds to a minute. I may forget him that he fucking existed."
Yeah.
And they're screaming, laughing, and him also that. And I would never do that to somebody I liked. I mean, hated really.
Right,
you know?
right. Yeah.
But, Nick DiPaolo was the only time I ever saw him laugh. You know, Nick.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Nick.
He's so, I like the guy, but he's so miserable about like we're in L.A. For the Comedy Store. He goes, "You can't meet any girls here." I go, "You can't meet fucking girls here. Half of them are beautiful." I said, "Look, watch this." And Dom Irrera said, "Oh, hi. What are you guys doing tonight?" And I said, "The fuck you want? To drive to your house?"
Yeah.
Anyway.
Nick DiPaolo is the only comic that I've seen in New York. You know, he moved to Georgia, but when he was in New York, he was the only guy that I would see say the most crazy shit to a crowd, like, "You dumb liberal pieces of shit. I can't believe I come down to this fucking weak city. He would say that, and it would be dead silent. And then the next joke, he would get an applause break because he was that good. He was that good, but like he couldn't handle when women talked in the crowd. So he would just stop his act. Like things are going great. He's one of those guys where when things are going great, he gets fucking he can't handle it.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of those guys where the shit's going too good. And what he would do is he would fight, like these two women were talking and he just stopped and he goes, "What the fuck?" I remember one time I just heard him go, he goes, "Oh, I'm in the bathroom washing my hands." And I see him, he leaves his act for a second. He looks at these two women talking and he goes, "What the fuck could you possibly talking about?" And I'm just wash my hands and I just hear him go, "Oh, you know what? God bless Ray Rice." And I'm just washing my hands because this is right when Ray Rice like punched his girlfriend in Atlantic City and dragged her out of the fucking elevator. And he just and everyone's going, "Oh my God." And then like the next joke, he'll get an applause break. I've never seen anybody make a crowd hate them and then go right back to like him killing.
I was wondering where he went. Is he in Atlanta or?
No, I think he went to like Savannah or someplace. Yeah, I think he's doing his radio show in Georgia. And yeah, I think he's doing a podcast. I think he still goes on the road and stuff, but he left New York, I think, right before the pandemic. Such a great comic though. So great.
Did you he left me his phone number. I'm just saying. This is the longest.
I'm gonna tell them all that. I'm gonna tell all these people to call you. You're gonna be getting your fucking phone's gonna be ringing the next week.
1-800-Dom. Hello, I can't sleep this fucking phone.
Bobby Kelly's gonna call you. "What the fuck? You know I love you. What the fuck?"
Are you in your fat stage or are you thin stage? Ever say he lost? He would lose 100 pounds and then
he just lost. Because he just had the surgery. So he's thin now. Bobby's thin. I think he had to. You know, it's one of those deals where.
Yeah, got to do it. Yeah,
you got to do it, right? I think it comes to a point where you got to do it.
Yeah, I put on 30 since I got married, Virzi.
He did.
I think that's normal, though, right? When you get married and settle down.
I mean, if that's the excuse you want to use.
Well,
guys always do that. Yeah, I look like shit, but I got a wife and kids, so you know. What do you?
Yeah.
Thank you,
Steve's a great guy. But you know what's funny about Steve? Me and Brett were talking about Steve. Steve's one of those guys where if he thinks you're fucking with him, he's got to go for a walk and process it, right? Like he's got that thing where he's like, should I fucking kick this kid's ass? Is this kid? Maybe I'm fucked up, but is this guy's talking shit in his passive aggressive way? And I'm a nut like that too. I always read into what people say. Like I'm gonna hold this against Dom. The rest of my, my story about him at the top wasn't, what he wanted. It's hold it against him forever.
I called him from New York. I said, "You want to get something to eat when and I know he's got kids." And he says to me, "I said about a bunch of comics." He goes, "That is the last thing I want to fucking do." Right?
Yeah.
And I thought he was kidding. There's the result of it, me complaining to you guys. And you know what? After all, I'm still hurt. I mean, you guys will walk out of here. You probably got his phone number, right? At least, I don't know. I try and hide my anger and sadness, but I can't. Some people. You go ahead and.
Thanks for hanging out with us, Paul.
No, listen, and I mean this, there's no Italian comedy the way it is today without Dom Irrera, and that's just the truth. There's those jokes were the first one to do it, the best way to do it on the biggest stage, and it made everybody watch that going, holy shit, I could talk about my Italian family like that because of you, man. And
thank you.
You were the first guy to kind of talk about the neighborhood Italian kids.
Really?
And that's why, and the other guy that I saw do it, believe it or not, was Eddie Murphy in Raw with the Rocky thing, which I still think is one of the funniest things, where a 5'2" Italian is telling the fucking tall black guy he's going to buy his candy. And you just saw Rocky. He goes, I enjoy Sylvester Stallone movies too. But Dom, man, you were. My mother still talks about your joke. One of my favorite jokes of you. I mean, I don't mean to make you feel uncomfortable, whatever. But one of my favorite jokes is when you when you were talking at the dinner table, and you were just like, my daughter, she married my son-in-law. I can't take that. She's busting my couillons, and this one, and now I got a boy who's so big. But you know me, I can't complain. That's the fucking best, dude.
Now that's funny. I got to tell you, that is funny.
I mean, that's the best.
Thanks.
Irregular.
I got to tell you, I don't like the word genius. Nah, never mind. I mean, I look at the world in a funny way, and I do funny things about that. Then I go home and complain about not getting something. So the only thing I care about, and people really know me, is I love to dance. I love the boogie. I love the mashed potato. I go fucking crazy on the I only bet you, if you guys would only had a taste of what I do. Anyway.
Oh, man.
Virzi, thanks for hanging, man.
No, dude, this is great, man. Thank you for having me. And always, man, it's a pleasure to be with you guys.
Thanks. You did a great job. And
well, I mean, apparently my first story, I gotta, I guess Steve, he's gonna tell you to edit that out.
Well, when I
went over the light and he fucking walked away.
But the thing is, it built to nothing. Oh, you know what I mean? But thanks for doing it.
No,
Killed time.
You know what I should have done? I should have done it in the middle. I should have said, "Hey, it's great to see you. I haven't seen you since Atlanta," and then do that. But you know what? If I'm going to get my balls busted on a podcast, I'm glad it's Dom Irrera.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
No,
if you're in the neighborhood, drop by. Or if you're around the.
If I'm in the neighborhood, I'll drive by. If I'm in the neighborhood, I'll drive past the house and say, "He don't want to fuck me. He don't want to see me." All right, guys, have a great night, man.
See you.
Thanks,
Paul.
you too.
My man.
Yo, Dom,
Yo, Dom.